Right, here's my printer. Now I talked about using a shoebox before, and this unit here getting hot. This is a step down. It steps down like a buck converter in a way. It steps down from 24 volts, which is the power supply, to 12 volts, which are used for the ramps and LEDs and the fans inside the unit. Now when this came, it didn't have a fan on here or any heat sinks. I fitted an internal fan which is powered from inside, 12 volts, 1-inch fan, 25mm, and I put a couple of these almost like chip type, well I presume the chip type heat sinks on the integrated circuit chips inside. There's two integrated circuits in here. This is 12 volts at 30 amps and a 12 volts at 0.5 amps, so there's two outputs. Technically speaking, there's two inputs as well, I think, if I remember right. Yellow, red. Okay, even doing that, it was still getting hot, so I did fit like an AMD heatsink, you might see it here, with an 80mm fan on, and that certainly keeps it cooler. I mean, even without fans it was working, but it gets really hot, and all that heat was getting pumped inside this box, well, coming inside this box. Although I do have a fan unit on here, like a, can't remember what size that is, it's not 80mm, so it must be a bit less, and holes in the side, and there's fan on the power supply with holes in the bottom underneath that. So basically the problem now is the noise, so I'm going to plug this in and you can hear it's a CPU fan under here that is making the noise. So I'm about to plug it in. Oh, this fan turning here is basically a filter fan. It's got carbon filter behind that. It's got another fan inside which pushes air out through an old vacuum cleaner HEPA filter. So let me plug this in and you'll hear the noise. As I say, that is this fan under here. It's a CPU fan, so you've got some glue on my sleeve there, hot glue I think. That's what's making all this noise. Without that fan it's quite quiet in here, so I now plan to replace it with one of these fans. Just let me turn that light off, so because I'm getting reflections. Actually, let me get that turned off. Now, apparently there's three types of these fans. There's a normal silent 8, which I have. There's a temperature control one, and there's a PWM one. Okay. I already fitted a fan of this type inside the power supply unit. I wouldn't say this was excessively noisy, but fitting a similar type, well, a similar fan to this inside here, but not 80mm, that's smaller. That helped reduce the sound, the noise levels. Now this does say, I think it's 18 dB, that's decibels. That's how noisy it is. Noise level 18. That's very quiet, 18. So you might think you open it at the top, but I found there was a flap at the bottom. I opened it. Now you do get some mounts. These are like rubber anti-vibration mounts, and there's a little label in there, I believe. So you don't necessarily screw it in. You can put this fan in, connect it to a case, computer case, whatever, with these rubber mounts, and that helps stop vibration. These are 3-wire fans. Nice sort of braiding on here. Well, this type of fan is a 3-wire fan. The PWM, I suppose, is at least 4 wires. I don't know, because this is just a normal silent 8 fan. 25mm deep. Now this fan I have on underneath here actually sucks air in, because I didn't want it, and there's a hole in the bottom and it blows air out the bottom. This has stood off the bottom a bit, just about 5mm or so all the way around, just on some cardboard standoffs underneath, all done dirt cheap this. So that sucking air in from here through the heatsink and blowing it out the bottom, and that certainly does keep it a bit cooler, but it's still getting pretty warm. But as I say, it may need some noise. Now I am worried that this might in a way turn slower, not pump quite so much air as this out, and not keep it as cool. But I'm going to try this, and I'll see how warm it gets within this shoe box. This is just a cardboard shoe box that I've put power supply, the voltage drop down, solid state relay and the ramps in. The solid state relay is for a heat pad, 24 volt heat pad. That's why I have a 24 volt power supply and knock that down to 12 volts using this unit. These are basically meant for cars, so these could be fastened to a chassis and obviously probably get quite a bit of airflow when they're travelling. So they're meant for cars to knock down 24 volts into 12 volts, 30 amps, 0.5 amp output. That's what it claims. I haven't really tested it to that. Okay, so I'm going to see about fitting this. So let me plug it in one more time so you can hear the noise level, so you can remember. So just remember this noise level here. And I'll come back when I've done that. It's going to be a reasonably biggish job. It's quite fiddly to get under here and get the nuts and bolts out and such like. But I'll come back when I've done that. Okay, so I've fitted this fan, silent 8. Let's plug it in. And it is on, because I have felt the fan like blowing out below. Put my hand down here, I can just about feel a bit of a breeze. Oops, sorry, knocking the camera. So everything is working okay. This fan is on, this fan is on, internal fan for this. That fan is on, the hot end fan is on, LEDs are on. Yep, those are all working. So I'll just show you the fan that was fitted. This is the one that was fitted, CPU sort of fan. Not a bad fan, but as you heard, pretty noisy. I didn't bother fitting the rubber mounts, I just like screwed it in with normal sort of fan screw mounts that I had this one screwed in with. So that's a lot quieter, I think. You can compare that with the noise earlier. I'll close the lid. You can get around the tripod. Slightly less noise. Okay, the display is working as expected. LED on here is working as expected. Everything seems to be working. The power supply fan is silent 6. So the 8 is 80mm fan, this one, and the silent 6 is obviously a 60mm fan. Right, that's it really.